Hi, my name is Mark Vande Hei, and I'm a NASA astronaut. I'm really happy to have the opportunity to share with you some of the wonderful places I've lived. When I first got notified that I was going to be talking about my hometown, my first reaction was, my goodness, I've lived in so many places in my childhood and adult life, I'm not really sure where to talk about. So I'll just mention all the places quickly and highlight a few of the things I love about them. So I was born in Falls Church, Virginia, which is wonderful because of all the history in that area near our nation's capital. As my father was in the military at the time, and we moved and actually lived in Shikoshi, Japan, on the other side of the planet. And then my family moved to Massachusetts, and we settled in New Jersey eventually, where I started school and finished grade school. That was a wonderful place for me. Lots of good weather, easy access to forests, and of course all the life in New York City, as well as the seashore, which we spent a couple weeks at every summer. Eventually my family moved to Minnesota. Lived in Plymouth, Minnesota and Collegeville, Minnesota. Plymouth is where I was when I finished my high school, and then and then Collegeville was where I went to college, where I went to the University of St. John's. In both places, I was right on the edge of all of the civilization around Minneapolis and the open spaces of northern Minnesota. So that was a wonderful place to be as well. Lots of fun on frozen lakes, long summer days, and of course summer fun on lakes as well. And getting out on cross-country skis in the winter and swimming during the summer. Wonderful place to be as well. In the Army, I moved all over the place. I ended up in Washington State and Vicenza, Italy. I lived in Kansas and New York State. And I spent a significant amount of time there in Colorado during my military service in Colorado Springs, Colorado, where I met my wife. And gosh, what a wonderful place to be there too. Right on the edge of the mountains, incredible mountain biking, lakes for water sports, and then skiing and fresh air. I just can't say enough about how much I love Colorado. And then I skipped over and lived in Northern California as well, where my children were born. And then finally, I've been living in Houston, and it's the longest place I've ever lived. And things I love about Houston as my hometown are the incredible diversity, the cultural activities, and again, the water sports, windsurfing, kite surfing, sailing. I like to joke that if you think it's too hot, all you got to do is stay knee-deep in water as long as it's not flooding. But so there's wonderful things about Houston as well. And I'm really honored to get the opportunity to speak about my hometown along with so many other famous Americans. And I would be remiss in saying that right now where I am, in a way, is my hometown. I'll be up here for really close to a year, not quite that long. And this is the only hometown where I can do things like this. Notice that a mic drop doesn't work very well in space. Also, one of the wonderful things about being up here is I can see views from, at night I've seen a view all the way from the city lights of Denver to the city lights of Houston, all in one view. I've been able to see northern and southern lights, and they're just majestic. And I get to work in a place, now that I've talked about so many places around the planet that I've lived, I get to work in a place where we are doing science experiments that support all of humanity. So, welcome to my hometown.